It's your friendly neighborhood Spider Dan here. Please excuse the voice. I do unfortunately have the flu right now. But I wanted to get a definitive answer on the Fischl versus Miko debate. And I know this was more a thing like when Miko came out, and it hasn't really been talked about in a while because I don't know, everybody just assumes that I don't really know what people assume, to be honest. I don't know which one people, like the majority of people, think is better. In my personal opinion, I think Miko's damage is always going to be higher, but Fischl's energy recharge and her battery potential is always going to be way better than Miko's. Or maybe not always, because there's still the potential for Miko to get buffed, but I don't see Hoyoverse doing that just because they absolutely hate buffing characters. And there's a lot of different videos already on YouTube that kind of go over this, but they don't really do that good of a job of showing off the exact things I want to see, so I decided to make my own. So first off, we'll just take a look at the artifacts here, because they will be using the exact same artifacts. So my Fischl, or my Miko technically isn't built right now, because these are the artifacts I'm going to use. I decided to just go super simple, which is kind of the theme for everything that I'm doing here, because I don't want there to be too much like deviance. I don't want there to be too many other factors at play here. So I notice I have a crit damage circlet, which might seem problematic, but that's why I actually have on the Skyward Harp, which is going to give her the crit rate that she needs and a little bit of crit damage, but not much else, which is perfect. That's exactly what I'm looking for. The rate to damage and the attack is really nice here. The energy recharge is decent. Normal electro damage bonus. And on Miko, I've got the Skyward Atlas. So she's gonna have, it's gonna basically be my normal Miko build, which is about, I believe like 76 crit rate to like 170 crit damage. It should be like almost exactly around this. And then the attack should be what it usually is, around I think like 2500. And then the EM is 40 on Fischl, and it's gonna be 40 on Miko when I switch the artifacts back over. And regarding the weapon, Miko's gonna get more attack percent than Fischl, but I mean that's just bound to happen, like, as Miko has a crit rate ascension when you level her up, and Fischl has the attack percent ascension, so we're just doing what we can here, and that's why Fish is getting the rate and damage, but that's about it. Whereas since Miko already gets rate, she's getting attack percent and some extra elemental damage bonus. So yeah. And then obviously the artifacts will be the same. Next up, talk about constellations here. My Miko is C2, but that's not really a problem because neither of these actually increase the damage at all. Technically it allows her to get to her burst a little bit faster, but I'm not gonna really be too concerned about that. And then for Fischl, she is C6, which is good because that's what I should be testing this at. And unfortunately, as you already saw, my Fischl is only level 80, whereas my Miko is level 90. So it's not like a perfect comparison, but I really didn't feel like farming all this. But I'm probably not going to be using Fischl too much in the future, even if I find out that she's like 50% better than Miko in all situations. Like, I just like Miko more, so I'm gonna keep using Miko. And then I think the last thing here is talents. So besides this, like the levels being different, the talents are really the only other thing that's too different, because we've got 10 10 10 Miko here, whereas Fischl is only 6 11 9. Other than that, I think we can just get right into the Fischl test here. I wanted to start with Fischl, I don't know why, but I did want to start with Fischl. So, let's hop right in. So let's instantly start here. Try not to get hit by anything that easy to dodge again. And I actually don't have burst yet, which is unfortunate. I don't think Oz can hit him from there. Yeah, because this is definitely a lot slower than Miko, but we'll see what happens. Now with just Oz attacking. I'll switch just to get out of burst. Yeah. I think this was kind of the obvious outcome. But there's still the question of like battery and some other smaller stuff like that. But I'll just finish them off there. And actually I'll just switch the artifacts while you're all watching so that I can show you the stats page as soon as I'm done here. Alright, and so yeah, 2,600 attack, and then yeah, 74 to 166, and then 157 plus the 58, a bit higher because of the book that she has. So yeah, I think we're ready for this damage test. So let's just head right in. I'm gonna use his first health bar to just do like whatever I want except burst, so I'm gonna throw in a bunch of charged attacks. But then his second bar, I'm gonna do only her E skill, and I'm not gonna attack at all. So let's start off with some charged attacks here. Oh, I already messed up. Alright, we're almost on that. There we go. Okay, I don't know how that hit me. And there's the start of that as soon as the first damage ticks. Then we'll see how fast she can do this with just her skill up. Alright, I kind of messed up there. I can probably take off 1 second, 2 seconds maybe. Alright, and there's the end of that. I do have on, I guess I'll show my Yellen build while I'm here. She is pretty broken, so I accidentally got elegy for the end during the last weapon banner. And this weapon's just completely broken, I'm gonna be honest. But and then here's my my artifacts for her. You can just pause if you want to see those. I guess I'll show my attributes too. Crit damage not the best, but you know, it's all about the HP if we're being honest. C0, 8, 8, 10. So yeah, there's my Yellen. Now I'm just gonna wait for this sigil to run out from her bow before I start this over again. Alright, so same thing. I'm gonna use Yellen's burst, and then I'm just gonna use Fischl E, and then I'm just gonna auto attack until his first health bar runs out. It should run out before I even have to resummon Oz, but summon Oz with the burst. Oh wow. The burst so that we can just do the E if we need to. Okay, that was extremely quick. So let me see. Let me go back in now and just use Xingqiu and see how long this first health bar takes. Make sure E is up, okay. I'm not gonna attack with Fischl, but instead with Xingqiu. And I forget, I don't know if he has more health at nighttime or not. So I might even have to redo this during the day, but this should be fine actually. Okay. Without getting messed up this time. Yeah, that's what I got hit by last time, but now I'm just gonna use pure Yellen moment here. And then for this next one, we're just gonna have her turrets. And then we'll use Xingqiu's ult instead. And see how fast it kills with this. Okay, that's good. Alright, so overall, it's not that surprising that Yai absolutely smoked Fisch in the solo. About 4 or 5 seconds over half the time of Fisch's in both. So I'm trying to say that half the time of this would be about 15 seconds, and then that's an additional 4 seconds. Half the time of this would be like 20 seconds, a little bit over. And so that's like, again, 4 seconds above, but so that's pretty easy to see, even without burst. And this, I believe, was, yeah, this was with normal attacks, this was without normal attacks. So you can definitely see the difference any way that you look at this. But then with the team tests, this first one is with Yellen, and I think that Yellen was a little too strong. My Yellen specifically is a little too strong. So she was actually doing more damage than like would allow for a reasonable like time difference. Because as you can see, like they're literally basically the exact same. They're maybe off by like a few milliseconds each. But I think Xingqiu was the better test. Because as you can see, Yai was done in 14, whereas it took Fischl 21. And so I would say it really depends on what you want to do. Like, who you want to use depends on what you want to do. If you already have a super high investment Fischl and like you're questioning whether or not you want to roll for Miko, who obviously comes out later this update in 15 days, 4 hours and 29 minutes from now, will be her first rerun. If you're questioning whether or not you want to roll on her and you already have a pretty high investment Fischl and you're not like in love with the character, I would say it's probably not worth it. I honestly didn't even realize how good Fischl was until I just did this test. She's obviously not as good as high investment Miko, and I like don't forget that I have 10-10-10 Miko, whereas my Fischl is only 6-11-9. But she's still a very good character and like extremely good for a 4-star character. Not to mention, she apparently gives back way more energy than Miko does. I'm not sure why, but that's just the way it is. So for now, I would say, again, unless you're pulling because you're just absolutely in love with Miko, like myself, there's really just no reason, because everyone should have Fischl, and I'm willing to bet that most people even have Fischl at higher constellations. You really only need like okay, well C6 is probably your best constellation, but getting to even just C3 is really good. And of course I only tested one type of team, just an electric charge team. And of course there's a lot more nuance probably in other teams, especially in Dendro teams. I'm really wondering how Nahida is going to affect this kind of battle right here. But for now, I guess we can just say that Miko, I don't know, like you can't really say that one is better than the other. They're both like, I mean, the problem is they're just extremely similar, and there's a couple positives that Miko has that Fischl doesn't. There's a couple positives that Miko or that Fischl has that Miko doesn't. There's a couple negatives that both have that the other doesn't. So just do whatever your heart desires. It really doesn't matter who you pick. I won't blame you if you don't feel like rolling for Miko just because she's a slightly, maybe slightly, well, slightly higher damage dealing Fischl. Even if her energy production isn't as good. If you made it this far in the video, big kudos to you, because I don't know what the heck you were expecting out of this video, but I hope you found it. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please remember to subscribe. Only takes a second, and it'll prove your superiority over the rest of the world. And yeah, I hope to see you in my next video.